Why look for them at Cappadocia, or Palestine, or along the coast of the Dead Sea? They're concentrated here, forming like a pentagon on the road maps. Some of the most fascinating and suggestive canyons of Puglia. An extraordinary world, where the land splits into deep canyons and caves, jealously guarding the signs of the passages of mankind. Up until the last century, the caves in the canyons of Massafra, Mottola, Castellaneta, La Terza, Ginosa, Palagianello were inhabited. Raffaello Nigro, in his Viaggio in Puglia, compares this land and this scenery to Samarcanda, the mythic childhood place of the world. Coming out of the heart of the land and climbing one of the many slopes around the Gulf, sliding into the big plain, in its singularity Taranto, the capital of Grecia Maya, the city of two seas. Carlo Bo, after his first sight of Taranto, writes, "Where does the secret of the beauty of Taranto lie? This city that we never remember, and that is not a part of the classical examples on our simple itinerary." Even in winter, when meteorologists forecast bad weather in meridional regions, in Taranto the climate is mild. Perhaps it's a kind of antique privilege tied to the myth of god Taras, who chose this region for the foundation of his city. The tall palms of the promenade, the modern Gothic sails of the cathedral, created by Joe Ponti, the pleasure for the people to meet up in the streets, the pleasure of going walking, a clear sky nearly all year round. Even this and more is Taranto. Surrounded by the sea on both sides, the big sea, the small sea, the internal basin, a kind of saltwater lake. The four-sided Aragonese castle seems the scenery for the bridge, Girevole, suspended over the ship channel. On the other side is the island connected to land by two bridges. This is the Old Town, so loved by Ungaretti, Argon, Brandy. Civinini describes it as follows: a Ionican Venice, without channels, but all narrow lanes, hidden squares, mysterious archways. The splendid church of San Domenico Maggiore, in its serious simplicity. The magnificent elegance of San Cataldo Cathedral, next to the great mansions and the humble homes of the fishers. Further down underneath, excavating deeper, there are the Greek-Roman remains. In the 5th and the 4th century before Christ, Taranto was a civilized cultural center in the Mediterranean, going back to the age of the splendid collection of gold at Taranto, often requested for exhibitions in Italy and abroad. Exhibited in the showrooms of the Archaeological National Museum. Here is conserved the complete documentation of the Magna Grecia civility. At only 36 kilometers from Taranto is another important archaeological site, Manduria. The remains of the antique walls, the necropoli, the Pliniano source testify the importance of the Messapic city. Along the Ionio-Salento coast arise other interesting reminders of the past, the remains of the coastal site tower. In the 14th century, the Archbishop of Taranto erected the castle that domains the antique ceramic quarter of Grottaglie. In a labyrinth of winding roads and squares, is the source of artisan ceramic production, high in artistic value. Fortunately, the work still depends upon the sapient hands of the local artisans. A triumph of typical Barocco decorations make Martina Franca a unique town. It seems as if its historical center was conceived with a taste for scenery. Lyrics and opera concerts are held inside the Spanish-style Duke's Palace for the Festival of Valedigia, held in July and August. This is a prestigious European opera musical appointment. White or natural stone, only occasionally, in incredible pastel tints, are the cone-shaped roofs of the Trulli, dotted around the Martina countryside. Here, among the stones for making the dry stone walls of the low Mediterranean vegetation, lives an antique race, the horse of the Murge, strong, robust, and sweet, an ideal horse for trekking in the countryside. Fun and furry, like a soft toy, are the donkeys from Martina Franca, although through the years their laborious work has been substituted by machinery. In the countryside of Crispiano appear some of the best examples of Puglia's rural architecture. It's incredible that in such a small area so many farms are concentrated. In summertime, many shows are organized, concerts and other fun initiatives. The many canyons all over Taranto are the ideal place for trekking. There's so much to see. Luxurious vegetation, rural churches. Along these routes you can feel the mysterious fascination that wraps the sunrise of mankind's history. His search for faith, the Basilian monks, the magician Greguro's alchemies, the processions of the faithful to the sanctuary of the Madonna della Scala, the Passion of Christ at Ginosa. The same mystery, the same magic can be felt during the Easter week, the height of this being reached during the procession of Addolorata and the Mysteries. A much appreciated structure for golf players is the golf club at Riva dei Tessali, in the pleasant green surroundings of Castellaneto. For country lovers, there are many agri-tourism farms in the district of Taranto, offering much appreciated hospitality. Miles of white sand and reefs emerging into the deep blue sea. 6 months of sunny year make the beaches of Taranto a paradise for sunbathers, sea lovers and water sports. It's from the sea that the ingredients of the delicious dishes of Taranto come from. Fish, mussels, oysters. Not to forget the so-called orecchiette cime di rape, roasted meat, liver, lamb, dairy products. And naturally the wine, the same wine that was celebrated since the antique Strabone, Plinio the Old, Orazio.